In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on February 6, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Western Kentucky versus Kennesaw State. This matchup features a battle between 2 Conference USA teams as the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers make the trip to the Peach State to take on the Kennesaw State Owls on Thursday night. Western Kentucky enters this contest riding the momentum of a dominant performance in their previous game, where they cruised to a commanding 101-69 victory over New Mexico State at home. In that game, the Hilltoppers not only secured the win but also comfortably covered the spread as a 3-point favorite. Meanwhile, Kennesaw State is also coming off a victory, having defeated Florida International University by a final score of 73-67 on their home floor. However, despite securing the win, the Owls failed to cover the spread as an 8-point favorite. Historically, these 2 teams have faced off 3 times, with Western Kentucky emerging victorious in each of those encounters. Their most recent meeting took place on January 11th, when the Hilltoppers secured an 85-69 win on their home court. Although Kennesaw State enters this contest as an underdog, the Owls have a tendency to keep games competitive and should have the ability to remain within striking distance against Western Kentucky. Given their strong track record of covering the spread in recent games, Kennesaw State is a solid bet to do so once again in this matchup. Over their last 6 contests, the Owls have posted a 4-2 record against the spread. Additionally, their overall performance this season has been solid, as they have compiled a 6-3 record in conference play and a 12-7 record overall. One of the key factors that could play a pivotal role in this game is Kennesaw State's efficiency at the free throw line. The Owls are averaging 16.6 made free throws per game, which ranks them 40th in the nation. This could be a major advantage against a Western Kentucky squad that has struggled to defend without fouling. The Hilltoppers allow an average of 17.9 made free throws per game to their opponents, which ranks a dismal 335th in the country. Additionally, Kennesaw State should be able to assert its dominance in the paint, as they hold a notable edge in rebounding and shot blocking. The Owls average 10.7 offensive rebounds per game compared to just 7.1 for Western Kentucky, and they also record 4.4 blocks per contest, while the Hilltoppers average only 2.9. The landscape of Conference USA remains highly competitive, with Jacksonville State leading the standings at 7-2, followed closely by Middle Tennessee at 6-3. Meanwhile, 6 teams, including both Western Kentucky and Kennesaw State, currently hold a 5-4 conference record. Both of these teams have showcased offensive prowess throughout the season, but they have also struggled defensively, allowing opponents to score at a high rate. Compounding matters for the Hilltoppers is the absence of key players Faye and Thedford, who together contribute an average of 28 points per game. Their absence leaves a significant void in Western Kentucky's offensive production. Adding to the challenges for the Hilltoppers is their poor road performance this season. While Kennesaw State boasts a strong 10-1 home record, Western Kentucky has struggled away from their home court, winning just 3 of their 9 road games. Given these factors, it is reasonable to expect the Owls, who are both healthier and playing at home, to secure the victory in this matchup. So the Kennesaw State Owls to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Despite the reputation of both programs as high-scoring teams, recent trends indicate that they have consistently played in lower-scoring games this season. Western Kentucky has stayed under the projected point total in 7 of their last 10 contests, while Kennesaw State has seen the under hit in 6 of their last 9 games, with 1 push. A major reason for this trend is subpar shooting from both teams. Western Kentucky struggles with efficiency, ranking 250th in effective field goal percentage at 49.2%. Additionally, they are among the worst offensive rebounding teams in the nation, ranking 345th with a meager 23.1% offensive rebounding percentage. Their field goal percentage is also underwhelming, sitting at 250th overall. Kennesaw State has not fared much better in terms of shooting efficiency. They rank 297th in effective field goal percentage at 47.8%, and their struggles with ball security are evident as they rank 321st in turnover percentage at 20.2%. Furthermore, they are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country, ranking a dismal 349th. Both of these teams prefer to play at a fast pace, which could lead to a high-scoring affair if they can find their rhythm offensively. Western Kentucky is among the fastest-paced teams in college basketball, ranking 4th nationally with an average of 72.9 possessions per game. Kennesaw State is not far behind, sitting at 28th in tempo with an average of 71 possessions per contest. Additionally, both teams rank near the top of Division I in pace of play, which suggests there will be ample opportunities for scoring. Western Kentucky averages 76.9 possessions per game, the 6th highest mark in the nation, while Kennesaw State follows closely behind with an average of 74.7 possessions. If both teams can capitalize on their up-tempo style and improve their shooting efficiency, this game has the potential to exceed the projected total. However, given the ongoing shooting struggles of both squads, it is more likely that the scoring output remains lower than expected. As a result, taking the under on the projected total is the best betting option for this game. With both teams shooting poorly, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Maryland versus Ohio State. The number 18 Maryland Terrapins are set to travel to Columbus, Ohio, where they will face off against the Ohio State Buckeyes in a highly anticipated Big Ten Conference showdown on Thursday night. These two teams have already squared off once this season, with Maryland dominating on their home court and securing a decisive 24-point victory. The Terrapins are coming off an impressive home win against number 17 Wisconsin, where they emerged victorious with a 76-68 scoreline, successfully covering the 5.5-point spread as favorites. On the other hand, Ohio State enters this matchup on a downward trend, having suffered a road defeat at the hands of number 18 Illinois. In that game, the Buckeyes fell 87-79, failing to cover the 6.5-point spread as underdogs. This upcoming contest marks the second and final regular season meeting between these conference rivals, and Maryland will be looking to complete the season sweep after their commanding 83-59 win at home on December 4th. The Terrapins have been playing at a high level lately, riding a 4-game winning streak into this matchup. From a statistical perspective, there are 3 key factors that give Maryland an advantage in this game. The Terrapins hold the edge in rebounding percentage, boasting a 53.3% rate compared to Ohio State's 51.3%. Additionally, Maryland takes better care of the basketball, averaging just 9.9 turnovers per game, whereas the Buckeyes commit 10.5 turnovers per contest. Perhaps most notably, Maryland possesses one of the most formidable defenses in the country, ranking 23rd in adjusted defensive efficiency, allowing only 95.2 points per 100 possessions. When playing on the road, these attributes, superior rebounding, ball security, and strong defensive play, are critical to success. Given Ohio State's inconsistent play this season, Maryland appears well positioned to compete and potentially secure a victory in this conference battle. Ohio State has shown difficulties when facing teams with strong interior presence, and Maryland has one of the most physically dominant front courts in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes have recently suffered home losses to both Indiana and Illinois, two teams that feature strong big men. Indiana runs a two-big system with Ballo and Reno, while Illinois relies on their towering 7-footer Ivizic to control the paint. Similarly, Maryland boasts an elite front court duo with freshman sensation Queen and veteran Julian Reese, who is a dominant force on the boards and in the low post. While Ohio State does have Bradshaw anchoring the middle, he has not lived up to the lofty expectations he carried as a top recruit at Kentucky. Given the physicality and skill of Maryland's big men, the Terrapins should be able to assert their dominance in the paint. Additionally, Maryland has been getting contributions from multiple players, with 5 different players averaging double-digit points per game. Their well-balanced scoring attack should provide them with the necessary firepower to stay competitive. So the Maryland Terrapins to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. While While Maryland controlled the previous meeting and held Ohio State to just 59 points, I anticipate the Buckeyes' offense to perform significantly better in this rematch. Both of these teams rank among the higher scoring offenses in college basketball, each averaging over 80 points per game. Additionally, both squads are efficient shooting teams, with both ranking 55th or better in field goal percentage and 43rd or better in three-point shooting. Another factor to consider is pace of play. Maryland plays at a relatively fast tempo, ranking 80th in adjusted tempo with an average of 69 possessions per 40 minutes. Ohio State plays at a slightly slower pace but still falls within a reasonable range at 188. Given these numbers, the Buckeyes should have no trouble keeping up with the Terrapins' pace in this matchup. With both teams featuring efficient offenses and an ability to push the tempo when necessary, I expect both squads to reach at least the 72-point mark. That level of scoring should be sufficient to push this game over the projected total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. St. Mary's versus San Francisco. The St. Mary's Gales, currently boasting an impressive 20-3 overall record and an undefeated 10-0 mark in West Coast Conference play, are set to hit the road for a highly anticipated showdown against the San Francisco Dons, who hold an 18-6 overall record with an 8-3 standing in the West Coast Conference. This matchup is particularly intriguing, as these two teams previously faced off earlier in the season, with St. Mary's securing a dominant 20-point victory on their home court. The Gales entered this contest fresh off a thrilling and hard-fought 62-58 win over their longtime conference rival, Gonzaga, managing to cover the spread as 2.5-point underdogs. Meanwhile, San Francisco is coming off an emphatic 75-51 home victory over Washington State, where they easily covered the 3.5-point spread, reinforcing their strength when playing on their home floor. On Thursday night, a crucial West Coast Conference battle will take place as the St. Mary's Gales travel to San Francisco to take on the Dons, who have surged to second place in the conference standings. Notably, the Dons have maintained a perfect 14-0 record at home this season, making them a formidable opponent in their own building. Few teams in the nation are playing as well as St. Mary's at the moment, largely due to the exceptional coaching of Randy Bennett, who has skillfully guided the team through a season that followed key departures from last year's West Coast Conference title-winning squad. However, while the Gales are riding an impressive 10-game winning streak, not all of their victories have been dominant. Their recent 4-point win over Gonzaga was, in large part, the result of an unusually poor shooting performance from the Bulldogs, who went just 3 for 1-7 from beyond the arc and missed 6 free throws, rather than a testament to St. Mary's overwhelming performance in that game. In recent weeks, opposing teams have struggled to shoot efficiently against the Gales, an unsustainable trend that is unlikely to continue given the caliber of opponent they are about to face. Statistically, St. Mary's ranks just 213th in three-point defense when playing on the road, indicating that they are susceptible to giving up perimeter shots in a hostile environment. This presents an opportunity for San Francisco, whose offense has been highly effective at home this season. Furthermore, St. Mary's offensive production may be limited in this matchup, as the Dons possess one of the best perimeter defenses in the country, ranking inside the top 5 in defending the three-point line at home. On the other hand, St. Mary's offense struggles in key efficiency metrics, ranking outside the top 200 in effective field goal percentage and outside the top 300 in three-point shooting percentage, according to Bart Torvik. If the Gales find themselves trailing in the second half, a scenario they have rarely encountered since the non-conference portion of their schedule, it could spell trouble for a team that prefers to slow the game down, control possessions, and grind out low-scoring victories. San Francisco has demonstrated remarkable resilience at home this season, particularly when avenging prior losses against conference opponents. For instance, the Dons suffered a 23-point defeat at Santa Clara earlier in the season but responded by defeating the Broncos in the return matchup. Similarly, after losing on the road at Washington State, they returned home and dismantled the Cougars by 24 points. Despite flying somewhat under the radar this season, the San Francisco Dons have emerged as a serious threat in the West Coast Conference, boasting an 8-3 conference record. Notably, all 3 of their conference losses have come in road matchups, underscoring their dominance when playing at home. Their home court advantage has helped them secure victories over quality opponents such as Washington State, Oregon State, and Santa Clara. Additionally, the Dons possess one of the most potent scoring threats in the entire conference in Malik Thomas. He teams up with Marcus Williams to form an explosive backcourt duo, with each player having already knocked down at least 45 three-pointers this season. Given St. Mary's methodical style of play, ranked 358th in pace of play, it is evident that they will attempt to slow the game down once again in this contest. contest. However, a reduced number of possessions should work in San Francisco's favor, giving them ample opportunities to keep the game close. San Francisco finds themselves in an advantageous position to face St. Mary's, especially considering that the Gales are coming off their biggest win of the season against Gonzaga. With the West Coast Conference regular season title virtually secured following last weekend's victory, it would not be surprising to see St. Mary's come out a bit sluggish, while the Dons put forth one of their strongest performances of the year. St. Mary's just secured their most significant victory of the season against Gonzaga, making this a classic letdown spot for them. Additionally, San Francisco has exceeded expectations and is more competitive than many anticipated, so the San Francisco Dons to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. St. Mary's has a well-defined identity centered around methodically slowing the game down, moving the ball around the court, and waiting patiently for the most efficient shot opportunity. Defensively, they do not take many risks or look to push the pace in transition, which is a key reason why they rank 358th in tempo, making them one of the 10 slowest teams in all of Division I basketball. San Francisco currently sits in second place in the West Coast Conference standings, and the Gales will undoubtedly attempt to impose their slow tempo once again. Additionally, St. Mary's ranks 20th in the nation in defensive efficiency, while San Francisco's offense sits at just 85th in efficiency rankings. San Francisco does not play at a particularly fast pace either, ranking 192nd in tempo, which suggests they will be more than comfortable playing a slow, methodical game against a St. Mary's team that remains undefeated in conference play. The Gales have seen the total go under in 4 of their last 5 contests. In their previous meeting, these two teams combined to score just 122 points, staying well under the 134-point total set for that game. This matchup features 2 of the top 3 scoring defenses in the West Coast Conference, with St. Mary's possessing a defense that ranks among the top 5 in the nation. They have already demonstrated their ability to stifle San Francisco's offense, having limited them to just 51 points in their prior matchup less than 2 weeks ago. St. Mary's also ranks 358th in KenPom's tempo rankings, which highlights their preference for methodically walking the ball up the court on offense. The Gales have failed to surpass 71 points in 3 of their last 4 games, while San Francisco, despite their strong home performances, has averaged only 69 points over their last 3 contests. Between these two teams, the under has cashed 23 times this season. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Loyola Marymount versus Gonzaga. The Loyola Marymount Lions are set to face off against the Gonzaga Bulldogs for the second time this season in what promises to be a compelling matchup. Loyola Marymount enters this contest riding the momentum of a recent victory over San Diego, while Gonzaga, on the other hand, is looking to bounce back after suffering a tough loss to St. Mary's. Both teams will be eager to make a statement in this highly anticipated rematch, but the Bulldogs will be especially motivated to reassert their dominance in conference play. Although Gonzaga has not displayed the same level of dominance that we have grown accustomed to in past seasons, the Bulldogs are still the superior team in this matchup and are expected to control the game from start to finish. The previous meeting between these two teams on January 4th saw Gonzaga dismantle Loyola Marymount in a decisive 96-68 victory, thoroughly dominating both ends of the floor, particularly in the paint. Turnovers were a significant issue for the Lions in that contest, as they struggled to maintain possession and capitalize on scoring opportunities near the rim. St. Mary's remains the only team in the West Coast Conference that has managed to hold Gonzaga under 80 points this season, and there is little reason to believe that Loyola Marymount will be able to slow the Bulldogs down in this game. To stand a legitimate chance against Gonzaga, teams generally need to put up well over 80 points, a benchmark that Loyola Marymount has only reached twice in conference play. Additionally, Gonzaga has proven to be a formidable defensive unit, particularly when playing on their home court, where they boast an impressive 10-1 record this season. Given these factors, it is highly likely that Loyola Marymount will experience difficulties on both the offensive and defensive ends of the floor. The Lions have struggled to cover the spread in recent road games, holding a 1-5-0 record against the spread in their last 6 matchups away from home. Compounding their challenges, they have already suffered a lopsided 28-point loss to the Bulldogs on their own home court earlier in the season and have failed to cover the spread in their last 4 meetings against Gonzaga. Given this history, Loyola Marymount's recent success is likely to come to an abrupt end in this contest, and it would not be surprising to see them falter significantly. Gonzaga possesses a much more efficient and well-rounded offensive attack, allowing them to consistently dominate key statistical categories such as rebounding and turnover margin. Prior to their loss to St. Mary's, the Bulldogs had secured back-to-back victories by margins of more than 35 points, showcasing their ability to dismantle opponents with ease. Expect Gonzaga to use this game as an opportunity to reestablish themselves as the premier team in the West Coast Conference, making a statement with another convincing victory. The Bulldogs will once again cover the spread against Loyola Marymount without much resistance, so the Gonzaga Bulldogs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The previous encounter between these two teams saw the total points comfortably exceed the over, and all indications suggest that this rematch will follow a similar trajectory. Gonzaga is the most prolific offensive team in the West Coast Conference, averaging an impressive 90 points per game while ranking second in the nation in overall field goal percentage and first in three-point shooting percentage. Additionally, the Bulldogs do an exceptional job of taking care of the basketball, committing the second fewest turnovers per game in the conference. They also play at a blistering pace, ranking 41st nationally in possessions per game. Given their style of play, Gonzaga will look to push the tempo early and often, ensuring that they generate high-quality scoring opportunities on nearly every possession. Loyola Marymount, while not nearly as explosive offensively, has been fairly productive in West Coast Conference play, averaging 69 points per game. In their previous matchup against Gonzaga, the Lions managed to put up 68 points despite shooting a modest 38.2% from the field and committing 14 turnovers. One area in which Loyola Marymount has excelled this season is getting to the free throw line, a factor that could help them generate additional scoring opportunities. Meanwhile, Gonzaga has struggled at times with defensive discipline, occasionally sending opponents to the line more frequently than they would prefer. Historical trends also support the likelihood of a high-scoring affair. 3 of the last 4 meetings between these teams have resulted in the total going over, further reinforcing the expectation of another offensive showcase. Gonzaga, which ranks 44th in adjusted tempo per KenPom, has been particularly prolific on their home court, averaging an incredible 94 points per game in their own arena. Their previous trip to Loyola Marymount saw them score 96 points with relative ease. Once again, this high-powered offense should be responsible for the bulk of the scoring, likely surpassing the 90-point mark. While Gonzaga will do the heavy lifting in terms of offensive production, Loyola Marymount has also demonstrated an ability to contribute to high-scoring games. The Lions have scored more than 70 points in 4 consecutive outings, showcasing some offensive consistency. In the first meeting, they attempted 25 free throws and found some success from beyond the arc, which suggests that they have the potential to contribute meaningfully to the total once again. With ample opportunities for both teams to score, this matchup is primed to finish over the projected total, mirroring the result of their January showdown. Gonzaga will deliver another explosive offensive performance, while Loyola Marymount will produce just enough points to push the total over. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.